All right, let's do this.
Sweat Equity Podcast and streaming show, the #1 comedy business podcast in the world.
I don't give a shit.
What?
I didn't say that.
You better give a shiz.
You should.
Pragmatic entrepreneurial advice with real raw dog talk.
Still doing that. Still doing
You got to write me better copy. I only read what the copy says.
Pull up GPT and let it write the copy. It's better than that.
Can you get the flavor of this show? Look,
I don't give a shit.
there's no one better at comedy meets business in the podcasting world. We're the best in the world at something. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's a fact.
Fucking thing sucks.
We're going to have our homie Tomer Hen come back on. If you listened to the episode before, he's a biohacker, like that stuff. But he hit us up to come back on and talk about storytelling, finding your niche audience. So this is going to be fun. Listen to us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you need a website, which you probably do because you're a human in the professional world or an entrepreneur or trying to get your side hustle on, get a Squarespace site. Fuck WordPress, Weebly, Wix. They're all garbage. We ride that Squarespace train. Woo, 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 woo. If you want to get a free trial and hook this show up a little bit, hit up our little hyperlink,
Wow.
in the description. I use the formal protocols.
Yeah.
And if you want to be our BFFs, subscribe to the pod, rate it 5 stars, write a little short review, a little something, makes us feel good, and share this show with a loved one or someone
a
you hate.
hated one.
Yeah, or someone, or
We really need that ChatGPT writing new shit for us.
do it. You set it up, I'll read it slowly. And if you want some merch, I'm wearing my DILF tank top. It's on sweatequitypod.com on our store. Little merch sesh. Let's get it started. Hotty toddy.
It's called Sweat Equity.
Listening to the Sweat Equity Podcast.
All right, guys.
How's it going?
It's going well. I just got back from like 2 weeks in Austin. From an e-commerce conference with my business partner. He's the organizer of the conference, and it was good. And things are very busy.
Let's talk conferences. What do you get out of this? Because part of me feels like I should attend some of these. That makes sense for me. But at the same time, I don't want to waste time, effort, and money on something. I don't know. I
feel like networking is the #1 thing you're doing.
Right. But if you're an attendee versus having a booth is a way different kind of scenario in my experience with different trade shows and other verticals. What is an e-commerce?
Everybody's on their laptops.
Yeah. So I completely agree with you. I think that my rule of thumb is any conference with a 4-digit number of attendees is out of my scope. So I really like the...
Ooh, that's a good rule. And
I just made it up, by the way. I don't like those. I used to go to so many like huge conferences, tens of thousands of people or thousands of people, whatever, and you just get lost, and you get all this adrenaline, and you meet a bunch of people, and oh my god, that's the best thing ever, and then you go back, and then nothing happens, and just feel like I could have just gone to a vacation that would probably be more useful of my time, and not all conferences, but if you go to a conference which is very targeted. The audience is carefully selected. Usually those cost like a lot more. Like, it could be a few $1,000s to attend. Then people come with a specific intention. So this conference, it's called a conference. It sounds like really big, but it's only 200 people. And these are 200 people who are not coming. There are no sponsors for this event. There are no booth, nothing like that. Just amazing speakers, billion-dollar company founders and very inspirational speakers that come on stage, very, low key stage, nothing fancy. So everything everyone gets to know each other, and you just hang out in a very good atmosphere. It's on a 7-acre ranch in Austin. So
In Hill
it's a
Country,
totally
we're
different
in
vibe.
Austin. Bee Cave Road.
It's near
Shut
Bee
up.
Cave. I think it's in Bee Cave.
Oh, did you hear that?
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Oh,
Great.
someone got
You
it right.
win the Austin Geography Award.
Near Burton's Creek.
Oh yeah. So are you based in Austin?
No. I was going to move there at one
He
point.
just likes to look at maps.
Yeah, I do. I actually do.
Me too, though.
That's from being bored in the back of a car
Yeah.
with no Game Boy battery.
Look at the atlas. Memorize the atlas.
I'd look at Farmer's Almanac for some reason we had in the car, and Rand McNally maps because that's what you do,
Right.
Other than staring
Are
outside.
strawberries in season? Look it up.
And I can't fall asleep in the back of a car still. No, I was gonna move to Austin in like 2011. So I had one job opportunity with a mutual fund company that moved everything from Santa Monica, where I used to work, my first job out of college. They were moving to Austin for tax purposes, kind of ahead of the curve a little bit. And could have gone that route, CFP route, but financial systems, it's not super exciting for me. I worked at a mutual fund company. These guys were like Wolf of Wall Street alpha. And it was like,
Yeah, that's
dude,
not
these
for
are
us.
10-year index funds, small value index funds. And then at one point I was interviewing when Facebook moved their ad department to Austin in about the same time, 2011 maybe. I was, interviewing there, and at the time I thought I was probably going to just move there anyway, but I had my then girlfriend who became my wife and now ex-wife. And that's why I stayed in Cigar City, Tampa, which I love. So
Me too.
yeah. And Austin, from the comics I hear that are over there, because Rogan's got the comedy mothership that just opened. There's like 12 clubs now or something insane.
Comedy clubs?
Yeah, that's like
I think there are like 50.
for
I think it's-
a city of maybe 1.5 million, maybe
2 million. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. And so I think it's an interesting look at a city that is tech booming, getting a lot of headquarters of big financial or big corporate firms going there.
Yeah.
And
I feel like Rogan did the comedy thing like all by himself, just deciding to move there from California.
Well, and then you get a couple more people. COVID's there. You can't do shit in California. You could in Florida and Texas. They opened up and that. And look, I left LA because in 2010 because I was like, if I buy a house, $800,000 for something near the airport, that's not that great. And you spend. I was spending an average of 3.5 hours in traffic. Now you're in LA, right?
In LA, yeah.
But if you're doing e-commerce, you're not probably having to drive around the whole county.
Nope.
Which is the second largest
Just
county.
withering around.
Map fact.
Oh yeah,
Jacksonville is
Jacksonville.
number one.
I knew it. You
Duval.
let me say it first,
Duval's
bro.
the biggest city by land, and then LA is the second biggest. And
I
that
know.
Which one's the first?
Jacksonville over in Florida, where Leonard
Oh, okay.
Skinner's from, and Yellow Card, and Stained, and Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit.
Mark Brunel.
Right.
Yeah, lot of notable people there. But yeah, Austin's great. I love it, but I feel like it's a town that exploded too much, and now I don't even know if it's hit its tipping point yet. But it's interesting to follow. Like 6th Street seems to be like worse than Bourbon Street now.
What?
In Austin?
Yeah, there's like a fight every night.
Oh, okay. Violence.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You guys don't follow fight
I'm
accounts
not
on Twitter?
subscribed to that YouTube channel. No.
Well,
I don't know.
you also don't subscribe to black
I've been,
people
like, 2
looking at
times,
magic.
Right. Well, that one I
2
do.
nights
want.
in 6th Street, and I'm like, okay, I think I got like what I need from this place, and I'll just move on.
I'm a SoCo guy. I'm a South Congress kind of man. I'm just
yeah.
learning all these Austin things to piss Eric off. I'm kind of a SoCo kind of guy,
Uh-huh.
I
South
didn't know that's
Congress,
the thing.
Keep it up.
You say SoCo, but that's cool.
near Zyker Park where they do ACL.
Yeah,
Austin
yeah.
city limits. You probably haven't been. I saw Stevie Wonder and Kanye ACL. It was awesome.
He didn't see you though.
Ooh, wow. Laser sharp quickness there.
Whoa, I'm out.
Let the hate
All right.
within.
We can start then.
No, we were going. This is all in. We keep this all in, baby.
Yeah, that Stevie Wonder bit that stays.
Yeah, Eric's never cutting that out.
No.
That's the quickest he's ever had a joke. Well, so we rarely get guests that write such an eloquent, nice email after listening to some episodes. So we're tickled pink.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, we're tickled pink.
Made
You
my
did
day.
Thank you.
that. You listened to John Livesay, the storytelling. What was his nickname? Like the
Pitch Whisperer.
Yeah,
Is what you,
yep,
Did you come up with that, or did he come up with that?
that's on his. That's his
his.
tag. I think he's got that IP on that.
I will say he is easily becoming our most popular show.
Yeah, no.
Everybody's like, that's the best one in a long time.
Well, it's something, regardless of business, everybody can get around, right? Storytelling is as old as anything, any oral translation, right? You can talk about the Bible and how it was written probably way later and kind of edited later, but the stories were orally passed down, right? Mm-hmm. And stories matter. It's kind of that thing where in framing things in that way, we already have that disposition to listen to that kind of story, you know, with 1, 2, 3 acts, you know.
Yeah.
But you hit us up about that. I don't want to get over my skis here, but it dealt with niche audience kind of targeting. I'll let you kind of chew the fat on all this. Like growing your community. I know there's a lot. There was a lot in your email, and so I'm trying not to give away everything, but I just want to let you kind of throw it out there.
Yeah. Okay. So, I just had this conversation with a brand founder that I helped take his brand or launching his brand and getting to the first $50,000 a month. And his problem in his eyes was that his audience is too niche. And this is like music to my ears, because I think that so many people are getting sucked into, reviewing Helium-10 and Jungle Scout and all these tools of, where can we find the best keywords or the best product that nobody's selling, but millions of people are searching for them on Amazon.
Googling and Helium-10 and what was the other one?
Jungle Scout?
Jungle Scout.
This better not be a porn site that you're tricking us into.
Oh, we gotcha.
So it's like, it doesn't happen, right? So this was a supplement brand, and I don't want to give too much details on his audience, but it was very, very neat, right? It was like dads who play a certain type of sport.
Pickleball.
Okay? Yeah. Let's say it's pickleball. Okay, it's not pickleball, but let's say.
Fucking hate pickleball, but yes.
Pickleball playing dads. So he's like, I can't find them. I have groups on Facebook that of pickleball players. I have groups of dads, but there is no pickleball playing dads, right? And to me, this is where his biggest opportunity was, because obviously there are many dads who are playing pickleball, and his supplements were there to support and help those dads to improve their game, feel better, feel more energized, recover better, all of that.
PEDs for pickleball? You're juicing to play pickleball? A game you move 5 feet left and right? I'm kidding. I know you're making an example.
It's not pickleball.
Yeah, I know.
It's much more intense than that.
Disc
whatever
golf.
that is.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, but that was a good example. So, anyway, his opportunity is in the fact that there are many dads who experience the same problem, but nobody actually speaks to them. So, as a brand founder, unless you want to spend so much money, especially when you're in a category like supplements, there isn't a specific supplement for pickleball players. It just, this specific formula just works really well, and it could serve them. And then a brand is essentially the communication that you have with your customers, the content that you create, how you solve their problem, just making them feel like they're seen. This is where they'll buy your brand versus the number one product on Amazon or whatever. So your goal is to show them that you are their only solution for them and you get them more than anybody else. And if you can't find them, this is where the opportunity gets really interesting, because that means that nobody else has already served this market to a point where there is not much to give anymore. And when you will rise as their hero and say, I know that you are that person, and I know that you have that problem, and I have the solution for you, this is where they listen. And when you can tell them, hey, I know how hard it is to be, to play pickleball with your kids, friends, whatever, and get so tired, whatever, right? I'm just making this up. And this is why I created this supplement. And most brand founders are not going to do that. Most brand founders, the easiest route would be to just spend a bunch of money on Facebook or try to hack the algorithm on Amazon instead of doing the groundwork of communicating with those people. And it could be as simple as writing a few posts in a Facebook pickleball group that has 70,000 people in it. And when you talk about the problem or you talk about the solution, suddenly you have 50 people who say, yeah, I experienced that, or I was looking for that solution, or I use this product or whatever. And this is how you build a brand. And obviously I'm not talking about, brands who are making $10 million and want to grow to 15. That's not going to be
they do an audit of the whole market. They're doing an audit of potential markets and who the competition is by price point, all that. We're talking
ground
startups.
up.
Yeah, we're talking less than 10 million revenue a year, less than $1 million probably with this scenario.
Yeah. I'm talking about getting to your first $50,000 a month.
Right.
And it's not that obvious when you're going to a very, very crowded category like supplements or better for you food or skincare or whatever. But it could be not crowded if you know who you're speaking to and you are so narrowed down with the audience that you're serving, so they feel like you are their only solution. You are the best solution for them. They don't care that your supplement costs 40% more than everybody else because they don't compare you to anybody else. But what most brand founders miss is like, yeah, but what about the other 50 million people who could buy this product? True, but there are like 5 million other companies who are competing for everybody else. So there is nothing unique about you. So you can create that uniqueness, and that uniqueness would come from the person you're serving, right? So, for example, with one of my brands, Switch Supplements, we sell nootropics that help you feel better, get more energized. That's called On Switch, and then Kill Switch is our nighttime hot chocolate that just puts you to sleep and makes you stay asleep through the night.
It's a cool name.
Essentially, everybody could enjoy this product, but we serve entrepreneurs. We serve entrepreneurs, business owners, people who need to get more done, who want to accomplish more. They need to sleep better because they need to wake up super refreshed. So people always ask me, like, why do you only say that you are a supplement company for entrepreneurs? Because everybody could buy those supplements, right? Yes. But if we create the content that is targeted, instead of saying, get better mental clarity or whatever, we say, get more shit done.
Yeah, less burnout. Well, you empathize as one, so that makes it a little bit easier to kind of get that message. The tent poles of what don't burn out, get rest, feel refreshed.
We celebrate our customer stories. When we get a testimonial and someone says, I had this horrible day, I had all these client meetings and I couldn't go back to sleep, but then your product really helped me. And then we share it with our community, with our email list on Instagram. People resonate with it.
Yeah, and compounding trust in the product.
Yeah. And like, oh, I experience that every day, so your product helped me. And obviously other people would enjoy it too, right? We're not rejecting anybody else, but we're just marketing to, and we are speaking to a very specific person. And I think that nowadays, after the e-commerce boom of 2021, now that everybody's trying to go into e-commerce, but actually everybody's realizing that e-commerce is super crowded. But it is crowded if you're trying to sell a product. It is really not crowded if you're trying to solve a problem to a specific person. And I'm not saying this in a in a fluffy way. It's if you really take your brand and you see it as how can I serve this person better, which means that I create a specific type of content, I reach out to them in a specific way, I know who they are, this is where they will buy.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just to say, hey, yeah, we serve that person. It's really just a business decision that will help you grow your brand better.
Even better if no one's in that niche, right? Like you're saying in that example. I keep thinking of Yeti coolers as you were talking because...
Well, it reminds me of podcasts.
Or yeah, dude, podcasts. That was another one.
There's a million podcasts,
but the one that made the one that made the most money was this is maybe 7 years ago. I heard this. The one that made the most money was an equestrian podcast.
Right.
Didn't have it.
Who's that audience?
Didn't have a lot of
People
listeners,
who are
but
rich as fuck.
But he ended up leveraging that into like some kind of brokerage auction house too. And using the podcast that way.
Should we pivot to like a CEO only podcast?
Oh, there's so many of those.
Talk about our private jets.
But CEOs at that level are psychos, and I think you and I would just be like, "Hey, how many people have you killed?" Because to be a Fortune 100 CEO, you have to be pretty much all ego, very little empathy. I think, but. I kept thinking of Yeti coolers because that was a thing, I guess because of dads, and dads gravitated around that, or Tervis tumbler, the cups, like that became a thing for tailgaters, and then it expanded into every team. They got licensing, and then now it's the standard cup.
They have their own like technology, right? Like they have their own thing where it was like, it's not like a white label supplement.
Those cups.
Tervis tumblers, they're like
those cups have been around forever.
I don't know if Tervis tumblers have been. I think they have like a special technology to keep things hot or cold and all of the shit you want.
I think their brand messaging worked on you, Dad.
All right, well,
but those cups have been around.
You find me
I know this because
Tervis artifact.
My friend Goo, he might listen to this episode.
Story. I don't believe it.
They put family pictures in those cups, those kind of cups, like in the late 90s, and we used to clown that. We'd go over to his house and get those cups to drink out of.
There was the two, like the chambered cup with the little thing. That has existed, but I'm saying like Tervis has a special thing.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, I'm just thinking of dad products that kind of took off, found the niche, then they would start applying to all the verticals of different niches. My
point is that like, most of the time, that's not what you're dealing with. Most people don't have something revolutionary. Lots of times, you have something that
you're right.
is out there.
Both of those are...
but you can
Tervis
target
is not that unique, though. I don't think it's that
whatever.
unique.
I'm just saying...
Yeti's definitely.
But you target it in a certain market or certain way.
I'll fight you,
At the conference that I was at, Capcom, last week, one of the speakers was the founder of Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah.
Familiar with them?
Yeah.
Right? It's a $1 billion public company that just came out a few years ago, and they're already worth $1 billion, and they sell coffee, right? Ground coffee or coffee beans. And you're asking, okay, why would someone, or not just someone, they're like $1 billion company would just rise just like that for a commodity like coffee. And he was talking about the fact that they were just so obsessed with serving one specific person. And maybe I'm not accurate with how I describe their audience, but
scary person.
David Petraeus.
White GAN owners, right? Whatever.
That's the one.
And everything that they do is there to celebrate and support that person. It has nothing to do with coffee. They're not talking about energy or the aroma or all of that. They're just talking about what they believe. They believe like all of the other brands were like, lefties that don't really care about an audience. And this is why people are like, you know what? I'll just spend my $25 or $18, whatever, instead of paying that Lefty brand to Black Rifle Coffee. And
yeah, while Starbucks
that was the same case with Jeremy's razors, right? Who I think it was the founder of the Daily Wire, who just battled Harry's razors. I think it's Harry's razors, who just stopped advertising at the Daily Wire because of, I think it was homophobic, whatever, comments by the editors. So they decided to stop advertising their razors at this website. So to counter that, the Daily Wire launched their own razor brand, which called Jeremy's Razors. And if you've seen this video, they got 10,000 subscribers on Autoship before they even launched. I think it was in a day or a week. I'm not sure. But from one single video that simply said, Harry's Razors don't think that you, as a conservative person, should enjoy their razors. So instead of paying them, pay us.
Yeah,
right?
Jeremy's Razors in March of 2020, the co-CEO Jeremy Boring opened a line of subscription-based razors like Jeremy's. That's so funny. I'd never heard that story.
Yeah, and just recently, I think it was maybe a month or two ago, so they were super successful. And then Hershey's, I think it was International Women's Day, and Hershey's had a transgender in one of their ads, one of their commercials for International Women's Day.
Mm-hmm.
So and Jeremy's Razors were so upset that they have a transgender woman on this commercial, so they decided that they were going to have their own chocolate brand.
Yep.
That has nothing to do
Jeremy's
with
chocolate,
feminism or whatever. Yeah, Jeremy's chocolate.
Now, you think they're going to do a Bud Light counterpart?
What color is your car? Black? Jeremy's cars.
Well, the Daily Wire is very conservative, for those that don't know. Ben Shapiro is the other co-CEO. Brilliant guy, but very conservative. And that's really funny.
A bit vindictive as well.
A little bit. You can't say you and I, if we're in that position.
Oh, I'm thinking, how can we do this also? How can we do this? We can do this. We can figure that out.
Well, I want to make sure we give you enough time to give, we've kind of been dancing around the theme of problem solution, right? If you have an e-commerce product that's under 50,000 in sales a month, problem solution. That's what you got to think to your audience. You got to find who that audience is, right? You have a framework for finding that audience that might deal with community-based, kind of, what is it, UGC? I always mess that acronym up. But really lifting up, I think of UGK, the rapper, every time. But lifting, and I've wanted to do this, but I've been so tepid to go full bore for this show to do it, because it's a lot of fucking work in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And it's something you got to be consistent with. But creating that Facebook group or that Reddit thread or subreddit or a open Slack group or Discord, I don't even know how to use that. I feel like my dad with an iPhone when I open that up.
Yeah,
but
too.
Creating these online communities that create a lot of strength. You gave the example earlier of the dad supplement product that they're getting feedback about that niche as a user in that group. And they're getting valuable research they can't get anywhere else. Now, if they can assess that properly, it's not just one-off complaint that they're getting that info. They're seeing a pattern of that. But tell us how do you get that started? How do you get all boats to be on a rising tide?
Right. Yeah. So there are different ways where you can access your potential customers. And I'm not talking about, Facebook or TikTok. I'm talking about strategies. They could either be borrowing someone's audience, aka working with an influencer who already have the access and the attention of your target customers. So why wouldn't you just use them? The other way is to build that audience. So you can create a Facebook group, you can create a Discord group, By the way, I have no idea how to use Discord as well.
Good.
And
Thank God.
you can, I mean, you can create an Instagram page, whatever, right? Although I prefer like a closed community that you can control, but you can either build it and then have people joining that community. It could be through ads, it could be posting content, it could be just inviting one-on-one. You can tweet about it and DM people. You can do all sorts of things to get there. If you and all of that is in case you don't have the capital to invest $10,000 on ads and just blow a landing page and get all these leads. So two main ways that it's either build or borrow. And I really like borrow because building an audience of your own when you're just getting started is cool. But for most people, it's very, very, very time consuming. It's out of their scope. And then an entrepreneur starts to think like a content creator, and then they're getting freaked out. And then, not all entrepreneurs or most entrepreneurs are not content creators, but watching a few YouTube videos and everybody thinks that they need to become a content creator if they want to succeed in business, which in reality is not true. There are many businesses you are, but if you want to build an e-commerce store, if you want to build an e-commerce brand, you don't have to become a content creator. You can just work with a content creator because guess what? They are most of the time are not very sophisticated entrepreneurs. So you provide them with an opportunity to monetize their talent instead of you trying to figure out how to get their talent and get their audience and get where they already are. And many times those influencers are broke. They're looking for more brands to sponsor their content, to provide them with equity. Many of them would love to have their own brand, but they don't know how to do it. They don't have the time. They don't have the skills, the team, whatever. So if you could create those relationships with influencers, and if you can have 5 or 10 influencers and give them each of them just 1% in your company, so they can promote it and let you get access to their audience, you will move way faster than trying to build it yourself and try to control everything. So this is why I really like just working with influencers who already serve your potential customer. So if you want the blueprint on how to do that, yes, you can have a Facebook group and you can have a Facebook challenge and you can do all of that. But I know for a fact that for many entrepreneurs, it seems like so far out from their natural skills and their natural motivation to wake up and open a Facebook group, when in reality, it could be way easier for them to just create those relationships with influencers, and the compound value that they could create from 1, 2, 5 relationships is so much greater than trying to build it yourself. So I would just find the influencers that your audience is already paying attention to and start building relationships with them. And the relationship should start not from a negotiation place, like, hey, would you promote me if I pay you? It should be from a very relational or from value-giving relationship, which is, in your case, as an e-commerce brand, hey, can I send you
a sample? Yeah. See if you like it.
Yeah, see if you like it. Don't ask for anything. We're not looking for anything. We just want you to try it out. And guess what? Out of 100 that you will send, and these are hard facts, at the end of the day, between 20 to 40 influencers will post about you. Out of those who posted about you, just because they liked it, just because they appreciate what you did for them, and just because you kept the communication with them, you can deepen the relationships with 10 of them. And then out of those, you will have 5 brand advocates that keep talking about you, that love what you're doing, that really believe in your product, really enjoy your product, and that's it. You don't need more than that. If you have 5 good influencers who keep talking about you, you have $1 million business, if not more.
How much have I told you on this show I love Israelis?
Yes, all the time.
I love them. I want to go to Tel Aviv so bad on vacation.
Right.
This is why you're Forbes 30 under 30, son. No, this is really good insight, and you're right. Why create it from whole cloth when you might be able to leverage other aspects find a specialist to be that content creator, because you need your dollar per hour is best spent being the entrepreneur generalist and delegating. Very interesting stuff. And you gave us some. We don't get into Amazon e-commerce too much, but it is a whole different lane.
Yeah.
It's a whole e-commerce in general is just it's other beast. We're more in the lead gen kind of side of marketing, but e-commerce, I started in supplements. That's how I got into digital, and it got sued by the FDA for $25 million. Anyway,
Not your fault.
pure green. What is it? Green coffee bean extract,
green tea. Who knows?
Yeah, and Garcinia cambogia, and then it was in every store.
Yeah.
Good times, great oldies. Hey, look, we're whores for anybody listening, Tomer included. If you want to send us any product, we will whore ourselves out because we like free stuff and we don't get much of it.
Yeah.
So I just saw the CBD hat laying around here.
Yeah, Gramco somewhere.
We'll push Switch supplements for you, nootropic for entrepreneurs. But we got to go, man. This was a lot.
Right.
You're very informative. Thanks for reaching out. We'll have to get you back on in a couple months, man. I feel like we got a lot more. We got a lot more going.
Email.
Yeah, I want to.
Be eating out of your hands.
You need to sell this framework. Message Tomer for framework that he doesn't have ready to go.
Find on Twitter if you like.
Okay. What is it? Tomer Hen on Twitter?
Yeah.
All right.
Just like that.
We'll rock on. Thanks for coming back on, and we'll have you on in a couple months, man.
All right.
Thanks,
guys.
See ya.